Gotta jump in, gotta start climbing, show up and win. Never stop striving, it's gonna be worth it, wait and see. Building your legacy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Brick by Bricks podcast, where we build others up through competitive collaboration, one agent at a time. I'm your co-host, Curtis Haddock. I did it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's your name.
Well, I'm not talking about that part. Alongside a very special guest today, Casey Tudor, and our co-host, Brooke Massey. Casey's filling in for Dylan, who could not be here today.
He's on vacation again.
And you know, that last time that happened, we had to do the intro, and we totally botched it, and we forgot to try to really learn it. But I think we got it.
I think it sounds great.
I think we got it. So
You said you got your name right, so that's all that matters.
that's all that matters, and I got your guys' names right.
Yep.
So, today, who was driving in thinking of stuff?
That's
today?
what I was gonna say. Did anybody do that? Because I didn't.
I've been thinking about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. We've had a little bit of a gap in between our last episode and this episode, which actually is going to lead us into today's topic. But do we want to just jump into what the topic is?
Mindset of noise.
The mindset of noise.
Define noise.
Noise could mean so many things. I mean,
Noise?
distraction, right? And it could be like just regular life. It could be things in at work. It could be personal. It could just be noise on just social media. Just everything going on around you today in 2023.
That's negative.
We have so much noise. Yeah, and specifically negative noise. And how do we develop a mindset around getting through that noise and not paying attention to it or focusing on it? Because when the noise is happening, it is so hard as just human beings to not think about it or focus on the negative aspect of the noise that's being said or
and just
whatever it is.
navigating the negativity.
Yeah, yeah.
Say that 5 times
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, going into our first part of it, navigating that negativity.
Why is it so hard?
I don't know.
Well, I
Casey,
think
have you tried to
all
do-
about it's
Navigating negativity.
Oh, yeah. See, yeah,
So
it's tough.
Like even talking, saying the word
Navigating
is hard.
negativity.
Navigating
how hard it
negativity.
is.
Navigating negativity. Navigating.
Unique New York. Unique New York.
So, if you're out there, I want you guys to comment below if you can say navigating negativity 5 times fast. The first time. If you mess it up, no practices here. If you mess it up the first time, then you can't comment below. Well, comment below that you messed it up. But I want to know how many people can actually do navigating negativity.
I want to know how many
5
people
times
can do it
fast.
6 times fast. And then send me a friend request.
We'll hang out.
We will hang out because I can't say words.
That said, navigating negativity is interesting because it actually starts on the onset of even like thinking about getting into real estate.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
which
You
we
know.
talked about that some too. But I mean, again, there's so much negative.
Like bad
just
perception.
people out there. They're not even trying to be negative sometimes in your life.
They're
It's
trying to be
just like,
helpful, they think.
yeah, they're like, have you thought about this? Have you really put thought into what you're about to do? And when you're thinking about just getting into real estate or just, you know, a new career in general, especially one where you're self-employed and it's commission-based and you don't get paid unless you do the work, so many people don't understand, don't have the mindset of even operating in that world. And so when you share with those people, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing, and here's what I want to do with my life. I want to make something for myself. Then the first reaction that you're most likely going to get from people who aren't doing that is,
That's not safe.
whoa. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not the safe thing to do.
Well,
yeah. So
I was just going to add to it. I mean, I think most of the time, probably not all the time, but most of the time, when people are telling you negative things or something like that comes up, it's just because they don't understand it necessarily.
How could
So
you
it's
if
like
you've never
their
done
own-
commission?
Right. It's
Yeah.
their own fears coming out, and it's coming out onto you. And then it just makes you think, oh, well, that's kind of scary. And then if you start hearing that multiple times, and us as human beings, if we just do that I mean, that just becomes a lot.
I mean,
it becomes noise. Noise.
Yeah, we feed off of other
I can't even
people.
say normal words today.
Well, look at like the oil and gas industry, like Chesapeake in general. It's like all those people that work there every single year, they knew a bunch of people were going to get laid off, but
Oh,
yet,
yes,
but yet
that's
they felt
stressful.
secure in their job,
Right.
and it wasn't secure.
And they've done that multiple times before, you know.
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's not, and that's just one example. And I mean, and there's probably people who are like, who's Chesapeake that are listening out there, not from Oklahoma.
Right.
But I mean, here's a better one. Enron. If you guys were around or even heard about the company Enron, which is oil and gas from back in the, I think they were early 2000s maybe when they filed for bankruptcy. They were a large corporation. They had so many people that had their pension was tied up in the company. I mean, and they were for sure they thought were secure, multi-billion-dollar company. They had a great job, making great money. Their retirement was set. I mean, there were people that were ready to retire in the next 6 months, and they had to work for another 10 years because Enron filed bankruptcy and completely just folded. So
Oh God.
yeah, it happens all the time. And then we just all went through COVID, right? And how many businesses laid people off during COVID? I know some businesses that laid people off out of fear that COVID was going to hurt their business.
Yeah.
And didn't even wait for the results.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I think the lesson here is there's really no such thing as security anywhere, and I think it's a false. It's something that I've chased for a long time is security.
Yeah.
But I think that in the end, it's really more about passion, and if you follow your passion, there's still nothing that's secure, but at least you're following what you want to do and what you believe in.
Well, you can be secure in yourself.
Well, sure, but it's hard to
know?
do that if you're not passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
Well, what about
Totally.
well, what
That's
about like
awesome.
day to day though negativity that we face on a daily basis? Drama,
Mm-hmm.
people lying, people saying just not the
Rumors,
truth,
yeah.
rumors, just all different kinds of things.
Those
and
are
they make
the-
a bad perception. Somebody
Yeah.
could say one sentence out loud or wherever on social media is a perfect example. Say one sentence and then a ton of people will talk negatively about it and let it go viral, if you will. And it's like everyone's perception of it, but they don't actually know.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think we need to talk
With-
about navigating through.
Yeah, with no regard to anyone else. Right?
Yes.
Like, and I mean, it's just the same.
They
as
just
like,
instantly say, "Oh, it's this."
yeah.
Well, how do you know it's that? And why are you saying
Yeah,
that?
and on a simple level, it's like when you if someone's dating, it's like when you get married, or they get married, when you having
Yes.
kids,
Yes.
or when you can have your next. And it's like those are just questions people don't even think about how they affect someone and how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember that people are really bad about listening and
Yes.
seeking to understand.
That's true.
So
Absolutely.
we are probably just as guilty of it at times ourselves,
100%.
where we hear something from somebody and it's automatically that's true. We don't we don't go seek to learn the other side of the whatever it is that was being talked about. We don't research, we don't go look for information. We just assume that what everybody tells us is true because if they experienced it and that was their perception,
Well, if
then-
everybody else thinks that way, then it must be true.
yeah, and it's got to be true. And so we have to, whenever we're navigating some of those negative comments and the things that get posted on social media, we also have to remember too that when you're building something and you have success and you're doing you're doing things the right way, there's naturally you're going to have people that do not like you.
Yes.
And I don't care who you are. I don't care what your character is. I don't care about, it doesn't matter, right? People love to hate. And I think that's one of the things that it's hard for us to reconcile, especially if you are used to like being in a world where you don't have to, you haven't had to manage that or deal with that before. We all want to have success, right? We all want to build something great. We all want to make X number of dollars or whatever the case may be, but we don't think through what does it take to get to that level, and then what comes with it. And you have to have a mindset, a really strong mindset, to deal with the things that people deal with at those levels, and I think that that's part of the growth process of building a business, is that you get to learn to navigate those things, as you kind of go through them. But yeah, people are gonna hate. If you don't have haters, then you probably aren't very successful.
No, and that, yeah, people have to overcome that, because like a lot of people they have the fear of people hating them, but at the end of the day, like I learned early on that, yeah, if you're doing things correctly and doing your job, people are going to like you, one, because you made them do their job. They're going to dislike you. Did I say dislike you on the first one?
You said like.
Okay, I meant dislike. They're going to dislike you because you're good at your job in general, and maybe get promotion, so jealousy comes in play. So regardless, the goal is just to have more people like you than dislike you, right?
Yeah.
So look at like Donald Trump. I mean, honestly, how much hatred he has, but also so many people praise him.
You only need 51%.
It's like well, even then, I mean, it's like 50-50 almost, right? I mean, and it's probably more than 50% dislike him than like him. But I mean, that's the thing, is we're not going to win everybody over. No. And I think, again, like what I was talking about before, you kind of go through those growth phases of building a business. We live in our own little bubble sometimes, where it's like, I just want, we're afraid of people not liking us,
Yes.
and we've always had that mentality and that mindset of living in that world of, okay, if I find out that somebody doesn't like me, or if somebody has a misperception of my character, or if somebody learns something that isn't true, well, then my immediate reaction is, okay, I'm going to try to go fix that. I want to try to go reconcile that misunderstanding, because I don't want that person to misrepresent me or to not like me.
But then what happens when you go and chase that?
Well, what I was really getting at is that's something that you can do on a small circle of people, on a small scale. But like I said, whenever you start to have success, there's going to be people that never even had a conversation with you. You don't even have their phone number, probably. I've never talked to them before. So it would be weird if you just called them and said, hey, I heard that you're saying this and this, and how can we fix that? Like, you can't do that, right? And so on a large scale, you almost have to find a way to ignore the noise. If you have the truth on your side, right? And the truth is, I mean, what the truth is, right? Everyone says that there's their truth, there's my truth, and then there's somewhere in between. I don't agree with that necessarily. I believe in objective truth, right? And maybe we warp that to ourselves a little bit to try to make ourselves feel better.
I was gonna say, if what you don't agree with, I think that's just more like emotional wise, and that makes sense.
Sure. But I think that when you know what the truth really is, then you have to get the mindset of ignoring everything else that is being talked about around that truth that is in direct opposition of it, right? Because we can't control people. We can't force people to believe a certain way, right? Everybody has their, I mean, you could give an article with a bunch of facts on it, right? Like facts of and statistic. Yeah, the sky is. Or here's a good one: the Earth is round. Okay,
what?
And right. Well, I mean, and we all know, right, that there are people that believe that the Earth is flat. Okay, and you can give all this evidence for how the Earth is round. Okay, but
math.
But they have their evidence for why the Earth is flat. All right, even if some of it doesn't make sense or whatever, they have such a deep belief in it that you're not going to be able to argue your way to making them believe that the Earth is round. You just can't do it, and they're not going to be able to make you believe that the Earth is flat. Politics is another great one. Give somebody a bunch of facts and evidence, okay? And if you get a Democrat to read it and you get a Republican to read those facts, they're going to draw very different conclusions on it.
Well, I like that you're talking about belief, because I think belief is a very strong core thing that people should have in general. No matter what your belief is, you need to have some kind of belief or hope. But like something I was going to say that I personally do to help navigate negativity and stuff like that, especially if I'm getting a bunch of things coming at me and they all kind of make sense, right? Because most of the time it does, right? So I always try to take myself out of the scenario completely and look at it from like an overhead view, which is sometimes hard to do as well.
Very hard to do.
But then I
sometimes.
go and find the facts of every single thing and then come up with the belief that I feel, whether it's the truth or not. But I still go out there and I seek the truth before I go and just make an assumption.
Yeah,
of something.
and like you said, it takes a certain like emotional intelligence or emotional like a maturity.
Oh, it does.
To be able to go to a outside perspective of your worldview. And I think that we all probably struggle with that. So I think one of the best things that we can do is have trusted advisors and friends and mentors around us that we trust, that they'll tell us the truth. Like if we believe a certain thing about ourselves and there's noise to the contrary, and well, you can, if you have a circle of people around you that are going to be honest with you, and you ask them, and they tell you, like, if they tell you something that you don't like, that, then I think you should reassess yourself, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's just the part of the growth and learning process. Is if we shut ourselves down to everything that we don't believe to be true, then there'll be no growth. There'll be no learning, right? And it's also easy to quit and give up when things get difficult and tough, right? There's a reason why they call them the 1%, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason, and there are some people that are born into it, and some people that just caught break after break, and or it was given to them. But
those people don't count.
But I mean, but they still go through a lot of the noise that other people go through. It's are they
have
maintaining
a different
it?
kind of noise?
Yeah,
though. I mean, honestly.
Well, yeah. When you're talking about truth, there's usually an agenda that's pushing it, right? Which is why people are trying to get you to believe a certain way. Because when you're talking about statistics,
hold on, is your mic going?
Test.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah. So in science or even the Bible, for instance, you have a truth, and then you have, or in science, in an experiment, you have results, you have data. All that is what it is, but what we can do is interpret it differently.
No, 100%.
And then when the agenda comes in, like if we're talking about COVID statistics and trying to get people to do something, we're going to spin those results in a way
that fits our agenda.
Right. So so that's the noise that we have to be wary of.
Here's how I kind of deal with that for myself personally. If I have a certain belief that and or an agenda, whatever it looks like, and I apply my truth to a certain topic, right? And then that same belief gets applied to a different topic and doesn't hold up, then I should reevaluate my position for across the board, right? And try to learn from, like, why do I think it should be this way for this topic but not for this, right?
Yeah.
And maybe there's a way for there to be different in different scenarios and situations, but generally speaking,
most things are very similar.
Most things
How
are.
it
Yeah, and most things can be simple too, right? We don't have to overcomplicate things. And I'll give you a good example of and we're not going to get into politics, so don't get scared here. But
I know nothing about politics.
But the pro-life, pro-choice is a huge topic, always has been, and it always will be. And both positions have great arguments for why they have a deep belief in their position, right? and I think as people, we need to respect that and try to find a way to have common ground and come together. But
No, I agree with that.
but there was a thing. The pro-choice group would say, it's my body, my choice, right? And the pro-life would say, well, we need to protect the life of the unborn. Okay, both very reasonable arguments, right?
Absolutely.
So what about then when COVID came? Okay, both sides had had their argument didn't hold up when it came to mask mandates, and you could say that about both parties because the people that were more pro life, they wanted my body, my choice. Right. They wanted to say, if I don't want to wear a mask, it's my body. I shouldn't have to wear a mask.
So you can put me at risk, but you can't put her baby at risk.
Right. And so, but the people that were pro-choice, they were more like, hey,
I see what you did there.
Well, yeah, they were more like, yeah, no, you should wear a mask because you got to protect society, protect people. It's not about just you. It's about so both sides took opposite stances, and so then it's like, okay, and neither side would admit to that, right? But I personally think at that point it's like, let's reevaluate, like what do we mean in different situations. And yeah, I'm sure that there could be arguments to be made why you can have a different stance in both scenarios, but at the same time, you need to learn to respect like why people have those stances, and because they're very reasonable stances.
I think this would be great to go into our next segment then of the dilemma of literally over caring.
Yeah. Okay.
Because,
go ahead.
I don't really have anything to say.
Oh.
I was just gonna say, like, to your point of what you're saying is each one of those people, they're over caring so much to what they really believe in, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it's bad, but then to your point, if if their belief now is getting crossed over, now it just doesn't make sense. So that could be a problem of necessarily over caring.
Yeah, and I think
a dilemma of it.
Yeah, and I think the dilemma of over caring is,
well, we just care too much.
Well, we as people, we should care about people, right? Yes. And we always talk about put people first, okay? But there comes a line of like every parent that has a kid that's addicted to drugs has to be faced with that reality of, at what point am I caring for my child, and at what point am I enabling my child, right? Yeah. And so we have to be careful about like enabling people to continue bad behavior, and that could be applied to
that might be
so
easier.
Many different things.
That's probably why we do it, right?
It's way easier because we do care about people, and naturally we have morals and values, and when it comes to people, I think we all, for the most part, like are people who value life. Yeah. We're not naturally like set out to like kill people, right? We're naturally set out to protect people, right?
It also makes it harder though too when you have people.
That's a mental something didn't charge right?
Yeah.
So I mean that
Well, I mean, there's
trauma. So many things can change it.
Yeah.
I think the hard part is when we care about people is like we talk to them and they keep coming to us wanting to change, right? Hey, like what's going on, but then their actions don't show results. So then at that point, that's kind of like where kind of over caring in our situation gets too much.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of what I was getting at is when it comes to business, you got people who, they want to make change in their life. They wanna make money. They want to be successful, and you try to coach them through the mentality of that and what kind of effort it takes. How do you have to maintain professionalism and
separate maybe friends and family that came into business with you.
That's always a
very
tough
one.
But
you gotta separate business from that.
But what I'm getting at with I lost my thought.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. We were talking about caring too much.
Realtor brain.
Yeah, realtor brain and interruptions.
Well, I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens mentally though. Like like there's something like as far as like trying to be successful and us trying to help these people, it's like something in our brain. For me, it's like anytime I like decide to work out and like hit it really hard, it's weird because it's always super challenging, but it's not really that difficult.
Right.
Like because I made that decision to do it, and I don't know what I still to this day
It's-
don't know what it was that said I'm gonna wake up today and make this happen, or I'm gonna get into real estate and I'm gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that's the part that if we could figure out how to get people to do,
It's
I
the
need to figure it out
mindset.
myself,
It's
right?
a mindset.
It's a mindset
and
because-
you have to want it. You have to have
Yes.
a why that's strong enough that says, I want to make this change and I
Yeah.
want to do this.
Well,
'cause-
going back to the brain being, our brains are naturally wired to think negatively.
Right.
It's there to protect us. So working out's not fun. It makes your body hurt, makes you tired, and whatever else at first. So your brain is like
then you
telling you
seek
not to
it.
do it.
Then you seek it, right? Like
Right.
once you get used to it, you're like, man, that workout sucked because I'm
But
not
you
in
have
pain.
to get through that mentally. So, like you just
Mhm.
said it, it's so easy to actually do those things,
Mhm.
right? It's so easy to pick up the phone and call somebody. Like,
Yeah.
literally, it's not hard, but mentally, we make it hard for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so,
You'll
it's just
suffer
different
all
things
day
and
long
tricking
to
your
make a phone
mind.
call.
Atomic Habits. I always like throwing out books out there. I think I've already talked about it, but still, Atomic Habits talks about how to break habits, make habits, and whatever else, and it all starts with your mentality.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, even in my background with sports, they talked about how sports is like, 90% mental and 10% physical.
Yep.
You know,
No, that makes sense.
when it comes to like professional sports, I don't believe the 10% physical
Well,
part.
because but you also like get those habits in place, right?
Yeah,
so
oh,
like
yeah.
if you're playing baseball or softball, right, you naturally slide. Like I played kickball the other day, and I have not played any kind of sport in I don't know how many years,
But you
especially on a
remember-
diamond.
You remember the
And
activity.
I slid
yeah.
into second, perfect, and it was like
Yeah.
a really good slide. And I like walked back in. I was like, I have no idea why I did that. But that's the beauty.
You weren't
of
even getting
habits.
thrown out. You just did it.
Right, I just did it. I still got
Yeah.
out. Damn it.
Oh
But,
yeah, that's
Dang.
funny.
but still, it's just habits.
But I remember what I was going to say about caring too much when it relates to like
Always circle back around.
in a business setting. We have to be careful about, again, going back to like the enabling people. There has to be a fine line between allowing people to not do the activity and just letting them oh, it's okay, it's fine, and actually holding people accountable.
Yep.
And because I feel like too, if you can get to a point where we do care about people and we want to put people first, but if we do that too much, where we are caring so much and we're allowing people to not do the activities that they're supposed to do, or if we allow people to not act professional and we give people chance after chance, well, that's going to backfire, because then people will view you as, oh, they allow this behavior to happen, even though it's like we're trying to fix it and help people fix bad behavior.
But
the perception becomes they allow it. And then when it comes to like production and volume, if we have people here that aren't producing, but yet we're giving them chance after chance to improve, to come to training, we have all the resources and help that anybody could possibly need or want when it comes to production. But then the perception will become that we don't do a good job of training because we have people that haven't done anything for months to years, sometimes, and I mean, that's naturally going to be part of it. But at what point do you draw a hard line of, okay,
well, also
we're going to care and we're going to give you chances, but there's a
I think it's
cutoff.
different for everybody.
Yeah.
But
I was just gonna add that also too, that part of us caring, sometimes it is drawing that line, and we may be actually helping that person for the better or good. And hey, this is a hard lesson that unfortunately you have to learn. We can't be together, but hey, I hope you learn this, and as you move on throughout your life to better yourself.
They may not feel it at the moment, but
there's always that hope.
like down the line they'll be like, oh
Well,
yeah, that was what was best for me.
yeah, and that's one challenge and struggle from leadership and growing a team. The other one we've been experiencing lately is that's caused noise is outgrowing people,
Ooh.
which is really interesting,
that's
right?
a good
Because
one.
it's crazy how we get along with these people. We'll go out to dinner with them. we're selling houses with them, we're being successful with them, and then all of a sudden, like, something changes in that person, and then after we look at it, it's like they couldn't handle
the growth.
The growth.
They couldn't handle the growth because they saw other people having so much success around them.
Yeah.
And either
That goes back to that jealousy.
Yeah, I was gonna
Well,
say
it's scarcity. So
That
it's
too.
abundance or scarcity, and obviously they chose scarcity.
well, and they want to be around other people that are growing at their level too, right? So if
Which
you're,
is nothing wrong with that.
No,
You
no.
can find that within anywhere, I think. There's always somebody or some place or some group within any organization, company, club, church, whatever you want to go. There's always somebody that's on your level. It's just, I don't think a lot of people, it's easy for them to just, and this is weird, as much as people hate changing, people are just quick to just make a change and think it's, and they blame it's that. And it's like, no, like you just didn't open your eyes and maybe try a little bit more and see, again, taking yourself out of it, looking from a overhead perspective of what you're actually doing to your business, your personal life, just so many different things.
Well, to that point too, it goes back to also seeking to understand.
Yep.
Because it, especially in our company, every single person in our company has the ability to influence change, right? And so people get in their minds, oh, well, we don't do this, so then this is not going to be the right business. This is not going to be the right place for me. Or, it really goes down to like either something that we don't do, we don't provide, or whatever. And so they still go seek somebody who provides it to make a change, as opposed to like, hey, let's figure out how to improve my situation of where I'm at now.
Right.
And let's bring it up to leadership and say, hey, have you guys thought about this, this, and this? The worst that can happen is leadership says, no, we're not doing that, or we're not making that change. Okay, well,
Or at
then
least not right now.
then at least you brought information and sought change. But what could happen is
they get rejected and then they're defeated.
Well, but I mean, then they're going to go anyways, right? But what's the best thing that can happen is we implement it, like, and then you like, oh, we can do those things, right? And that's the thing I don't ever understand is people not, especially people who aren't engaged. And I think that there's a sense of like embarrassment that people get if they haven't been engaged for a while, or they haven't been producing and they've been away. I think that there's a sense of embarrassment that comes with that, of like, okay, well, I can't just show up now and start demanding things or asking for things, or what do people think of me because I don't produce very much, or I haven't been. And it's like, that's the complete opposite of how we would feel if people came in.
I want to talk to you.
Yeah, we want, especially if you've taken a break, because I mean, some people take breaks for various reasons. Yeah, life happens to all of us.
Which is why real estate's great.
Well, people see like our careers and stuff now. I'm like, guys, I went through real estate school twice. I took the test a couple times and I failed it. Didn't even study, and then I said, this is stupid. And worked my way up, and then had to do it for a year and a half part-time. So, like, people forget and they don't see those things. And so it's okay to take those breaks.
It is. I went inactive for 2.5 years.
See?
I quit for 2 years, like kept an active license. And but I took 2 times where I got off for two various reasons. I mean, the first time I went inactive because I sucked at real estate and I wasn't doing well. And then the second time I had a bunch of health stuff come up. It was life made it to where I physically, I mean, even to this day, the health problems I have, like, there are times where I can barely get out of bed in the morning because I can't move my muscles. My muscles don't work for whatever reason until I start to get moving and going. So it's a very slow process in the morning. But if people are going through that, just if you want to get back into things, get back into it.
Like,
go
understand. That's what we're here for.
We all go through that stuff, and life is happening to all of us. And so, go get back involved, to talk to leadership, because again, the worst thing that can happen is your worst fear.
Or something that you're thinking, and you're really, really thinking about it and talking about navigating negativity. I had to think about that for a second so I can make sure I didn't mess it up. and you're hearing all this stuff, well, bring it to us. And yeah, either we're going to change it and we're saying we're going to say no, but most importantly, we're going to help you navigate that negativity
Right.
and help you understand, okay, maybe that is something over here or whatever else. That's always what I try to do.
Here's, okay, yeah, we're either going to adopt what your ideas are,
And we've done
or
that several times.
or the leadership is going to help you navigate a different way of thinking about that idea, because it's like, maybe we've already tried that before and here's why it didn't work, and you didn't have that perspective before, right? And so you can at least gain the perspective of why we do or don't do something, so that you can then ultimately make a decision. Some people, they have to go learn themselves as to why something doesn't work. I would highly encourage you listen to mentors, people who have done the things that you're thinking about doing before, and see what they say. And for some reason, we still like want to try things that mentors or people that have been there before are telling you like not to do. And I go back to when we were kids, and your parents tell you don't touch fire, or you don't touch the fireplace. It's hot. But we're
You
just
don't know
like,
what that means.
yeah.
Does that mean I can go get a billboard?
yeah. Go see what happens. Tell me how many calls you get on it too.
Okay, deal.
Although I'll tell you this, our broker in Florida, I've always talked to her about like billboards and stuff, and there's agents out there in Florida that get billboards, like I guess a lot off the highways there and stuff. And I'm like, we need to. That's not going to be the way we grow and get agents and things like that. Even business, most real estate is a referral business, and it's a face-to-face relational business. However, she put a sign out at her kid's school, and it was on, I think it was on like the baseball field, which is like right behind this big plot of land that just looks like a commercial piece of land.
Yeah.
Well, she has gotten a couple of phone calls now on that, with people thinking that she has that land for sale.
Oh.
And some of her best clients and her biggest deals, she has a couple of really big deals that are gonna happen because she had a sign out of marketing and advertising. And so it's like,
I love it.
I love it too.
That's also
yeah.
cool. Like I'd probably have my sign at my kids.
Oh, I told her, yeah, keep that sign forever.
Hopefully no one builds on that land ever.
It's really not that expensive, and she's gonna.
Well, she has the money for it, right?
$1,000.
She has the money for it. When you're trying to get into real estate and start growing your business, even if you're a few years in, the last thing you can do is afford to pay for billboards and $3,000 a month in leads.
Well, that's noise right there. Like when you first come into real estate, what's the first thing that?
And they're hot, right? Hot leads.
They're going to hit you up. Leads. Yeah, we got you. You need to invest in this, invest in that. You need to go after leads. You need to pay for this, pay for. They want.
I'm
you
like,
to,
who are you going to market to?
Yeah.
You don't have anyone yet.
Well, that's interesting because recently I've lost some agents that I was working on recruiting because they went somewhere that provided leads, and I tried to tell this guy like, hey man, like I encourage you not to do that, and he's like, you're the first person who's told me that. I'm like, yeah, man, because
they don't actually want you to grow your business.
Yeah, because he's like, this guy over here is making X amount of money off of the leads only, and I'm like going, well, that takes even more of a special person than it does for someone to grow organic relationships.
Well, he's making that by doing double the work,
and he's doing
and less quality clients. It's going to be lower price points. It's hard to convert. You're going to be a slave to that kind of work.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to escape. In fact, the only natural progression, if you start building your business through leads, is to build a traditional real estate team where you bring people in on a 50% split, and you say, here's my leads. I can't keep up with them anymore. Like, so here you go. And if you start buying a bunch of leads, right, what's the best thing that can happen? You get a bunch of clients out of it, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you do that. Are you prepared? Let's say you are able to convert 50 of those clients. Well, that's 50 buyers. You can't do that by yourself.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 at a time.
Let's go get 50 listings, and then let's start thinking about these buyers, and then we can start navigating a team environment that way. But again, it's a different perspective that we have, and the way we think about
like
leads.
They're more of like a training. It's great as a new agent. As a cherry on top. You
close
a handful of them. That's 10, 15K or more a year.
Go get leads after you learn how to make money in the business.
So you learn how to convert.
So that you can buy your own leads instead of having to pay. Everyone I talk to that does leads, the first thing that almost everybody says is, golly, it's expensive. The referral fee is expensive.
Well, buying the
right?
leads are expensive.
Right. But, if you don't want to pay the 40% referral fee or the 30%, whatever it is for whoever you're getting leads from, well, then go learn how to sell real estate, make money, and go get your own leads. And it's not that hard, right?
Yeah.
But it's the mindset of,
define a
ignoring
lead.
the noise and picking up the phone. But
Define a lead, right?
yeah,
At the end of the day, it's either Zillow, a FSBO, an open house lead, someone on the street, someone I met at the bar, someone I met over here, someone I met at church. I still have to call them. I still have to provide value. I still have to convince them to use me. And I have to do everything the same. So instead of paying high fees and whatever else and having to call them sometimes multiple times and not having the quality, I'd much rather be able to call all these other people with a higher conversion rate.
I always tell people, it's like, they're always like, hey, what do you think about door knocking? I'm like, I've never done it. And it's like, but it can work, right? But my job as a mentor and as a real estate coach is to try to get you as close to people that are as close to that decision of buying a house as possible.
Yes.
Because that's how you start making money sooner or later.
That's
what our
important.
system teaches.
Correct.
Right? And it's like, so yeah, you can go knock on doors, but why not just go do a FSBO? Because they're trying to sell their house right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Open houses. Yeah. Go knock
Same
and
thing.
invite the neighbors. Do that door knocking and stuff.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, the negativity that comes into the brain is, well, that gets me that much closer to that no that I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Well,
So they distance themselves from that.
and for some reason, there's a mindset behind a lead. It's like, I would
It's
much
free.
rather. Well, not even that. FSBO's free.
Well, right,
What I'm saying is, there's the mindset around, just people want the easiest, laziest way possible to make money, right? And I mean, look, we all want to try to make a bunch of money and do the least amount of work as possible, right? We're all trying to figure that out, but the more money you make, the more responsibilities and the stronger your mindset has to be. So for some reason, though, when people get in, they think there's going to be an easy way for leads to just fall in their lap, and it sounds easier for something to just come to them as opposed to them having to initiate going to the lead, which to me, there's no difference, because if a lead comes to you, what's the first step you have to take?
Yeah, call them.
You got to pick up the phone and you have
Right.
to call them.
That's why we say define
and,
a lead.
and
'cause-
convert them, right? But with a FSBO, with an expired, with an open house, the leads are coming to you at open houses, right?
Mhm.
The first step after all of that is you have to pick up the phone and you have to call them.
Mhm.
And guess what? You don't have to pay a 40% referral fee
Right.
when you do those. And the conversion rate is way higher
Yep.
because less people are doing it. So anyways, I don't know what time we're at. What was,
I think that's probably a good ending.
yeah. Noise. Woo.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to the noise.
Don't
Unsubscribe.
to the noise.
Subscribe to the podcast. Unsubscribe to the
from
noise.
There we
There
go.
you
There we go.
go.
That was good stuff, man. Unsubscribe to the noise, man. I wish I would have thought of that. Okay.
Nope. Would you rather?
Would you rather? Hey guys, we have an improved setup now. You don't get to see Lauren today, but you get to hear her on the microphone.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
It's Lauren Downs.
Is it working? Say it again, Lauren Downs.
Hello? Can
Yep,
you hear
yep,
me?
yep. There it is.
Let's move this down because I'm short.
I know. I was like, you were standing up really
I
tall.
know.
Yeah.
All
You got some good ones for us today?
I think so.
I don't
Okay,
like that face.
all right. Question number 1 of Would You Rather.
Casey's gets the answer first.
Would you rather live at
At least
the
I
top?
got someone with me that sometimes will agree with me.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Well, you and Dylan
You and
are
Dylan
always
are weird.
opposite.
Yeah.
No, he
And
wants
Lauren, too.
Batman.
Well, that one was the one exception.
Well, that's a bad
But
one.
yeah, usually you, Lauren, and Dylan are all together on your thought process.
Okay. Would you rather
feelings always
live
get
at the
hurt.
top of a tall New York City apartment building or at the top of a mountain?
Would I fall off of it?
No, would you rather,
No,
rather
would you
live?
rather
live?
live?
Oh,
What's the altitude?
I like this
You
question. This is a
can't-
nice question.
I don't
Yeah.
handle altitude well.
You can't ask questions.
Okay, let's say you're gonna get used to the altitude.
Okay, altitude's not the question. A mountain.
Okay.
That's a tough one because I like being around people too sometimes, but like I love the mountain. I would do mountain. I love cold.
I
I
don't
love
know.
the mountains.
Can
I
I
love.
just choose both?
No.
No.
Would you rather?
Not.
I
Would
don't
you
know.
do
So
both?
this has been always been a problem. So I have multiple best friends.
Yeah.
I just instead of having one, why would you just choose one when you can have both?
It's a game.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean.
You have to pick one. Now here's the answer, bro.
Probably mountain. Then.
Superman gets put in this position all the time.
in real life. Yeah, you could do both if you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if
I was like,
you-
because that's kind of like
yeah.
my plan.
But-
I'm going
but-
to have both.
But in this game, you have a gun to your head, and you're like, okay, you get to pick
well,
one.
if there's a gun to my head, I'm just picking whatever.
Okay, let me rephrase this.
I'm just like, just don't shoot me.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
trying
which
to say.
one
I'll
you want
do
me to
whatever
choose?
you want me to.
In this game, you have to choose one.
I already said mountain,
Okay.
Okay.
but I
Those
choose
were-
both.
Those were good answers, everyone. Question number 2.
Lauren, what would you choose?
Oh,
Oh,
New York?
I don't
High rise?
know.
I don't know. See, I've
Probably.
been to the mountain, but I haven't been to New York.
I
You
love
like to
the
shop,
mountains.
probably, you know, and
Yeah.
people, and like,
I
yeah.
don't know if I'd want to live in New York though, so I think I would choose top of the mountain.
It'd be hard to live in New York, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay, question number 2. Would you rather have huge feet covered in fur or your feet always smelled super gross?
Covered in fur.
Covered in fur.
Can I just? Does
I'd
my
swim in water
shoes
shoes.
Cover up the smell.
I have had feet that smell before when I was younger. It is embarrassing. It's not fun. Anytime you go somewhere and like they expect you to take your shoes off, yeah. Fur,
I'd probably go with
fur.
stinky feet because you can't
No,
hide
I wouldn't
that.
hang out with you.
If anything, I would just hang out. But I don't know. It's Casey's feet.
I used to have
Put
this
socks
guy.
on. Just
I used to
wear
have this guy
socks.
that would come over to my house.
no, they'd be
and he
big
had
and
stinky
hairy.
feet, and he
Well, yeah, that's
and
true.
he always wore flip flops, and he always would like do this with his toes while I'd sit in my chair. And if you'd go to the bathroom, like come back, you could like smell it, and it was just
Ew.
Yeah.
awful.
Well, I don't do that.
Awful.
That stinky feet is just not good.
I would just go with stinky feet.
Have you ever
and you
had
can
stinky
shave.
feet?
No, my feet don't really stink.
I did when I was a teenager.
Yeah, when I was I was
Oh.
middle school, so about my early teenage years. But I got athlete's foot,
I did too.
and yeah, I would not.
That was
recommend.
the worst, dude.
I mean, and
I think
just like
men's
men's feet are
the
gross.
the spray you had. I mean, it just
So true.
it was not good.
It's a
They're
lot of
so
work.
gross.
It's a lot of work
Men's
with not a lot of
toenails.
progress.
I think I
Oh,
scared
yes.
Jonah too.
There's every once in
and
a
he
while.
always
there's,
he
like,
takes
men,
his
they have
shoes
pretty
off
feet.
like
I'm like,
all the
I just
time,
like
like
you
in the
already.
car, like because I told him I got athlete's foot because I just never took my shoes off. I just wore them in the house when I got home. I wore them all the time, and I didn't let my feet breathe, and that's how I ended up getting athlete's foot. And I told that to Jonah, and like he literally like takes his shoes off everywhere,
So
everywhere.
if I have,
If you guys ever
stinky
notice
feet,
when he comes into the office, what's the first thing he just takes his shoes off?
That's awesome.
that's fine. I'll just walk around with you guys because then I'll be less embarrassed about my stinky feet because you guys will have the big hairy feet, and everyone's
What would-
looking at you.
I'll shave
And
it.
then
Lauren, what would
it's-
you choose?
Well, you know what they say about big feet.
I wonder if this is like a difference between
shoes?
men and women or
Yeah.
something, like, you know.
I don't know. I think that, I mean, I know the question doesn't specify, but with having hit the fur on your feet, I would just shave it off.
Right,
I
that's
think
what
I
I'm
would
doing.
Rather, I wear sandals too much to have like stinky feet.
What's up, Anthony?
But I do think if I had huge feet, like proportionally wise, I would
Yeah.
look very off.
Yes.
You know, because I'm
So-
like short. And
Yeah,
I
but
would
your
have to s-
balance would be better.
Maybe.
You just look like you're wearing Uggs all the time. Just,
No, I would
Maybe.
probably
Yeah,
just wear
stub my
Uggs, yeah.
toe more.
I don't know. Okay. Question number 3. I like this question. Would you rather live inside your favorite childhood movie or book?
Ooh.
Well,
Movie.
movie. Because I'd be in the Sandlot and I'd be playing baseball every single day.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
What was your favorite
well,
childhood book?
I guess
As a child.
I
that
guess
is.
I should probably figure out what's my favorite to decide.
And I was like, this. Why do
Well,
I
I-
always
I
have to have a
immediately-
favorite everything?
I immediately
I
took
know.
myself.
hard.
I took myself back to a child because you said if you're a child. So Sandlot was it for me.
Well, yeah, your favorite
Fair.
childhood
Yeah.
Yeah.
movie.
I always watched The
Or
Wizard
book.
of Oz.
Me too. That
I
was my
was
favorite.
obsessed. I watched it every day.
Me too. Seriously, my mom.
But that's
would-
just creepy. And then those evil monkeys.
No, that's so cool.
well.
They're
Oh,
co-
the
they're
Yellow
always-
Brick Road.
They're always coming for you, you know?
I would probably be like in the Ninja Turtles movies.
Mm,
You know?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's good too. Fighting
I don't
crime.
know
But-
what my
but-
favorite childhood book was. I mean,
Yeah.
I
don't
liked
know.
the like magic or the
School
box
bus.
car, the treehouse things.
That's like
I
3
don't know.
different
I walked through-
I know.
books that you
Yeah,
just
I
named. Magic School
read
Bus, the Boxcar
Narnia.
thing, and the Magic
The
Treehouse or whatever.
boxcar
Ooh.
books. It was like all those.
Yeah, I know what you're
Magic
talking
School
about.
Bus. I loved that.
Oh,
shit.
Yeah,
that was
that was a
show,
good
too.
one.
Still on us.
But I did read the Narnia books. Those are pretty good.
That would be good.
I really
too.
wasn't a child. I was like in high school.
I didn't read a lot as a kid. I didn't start
Yeah.
reading until I was an
That was
adult.
the only thing I actually read in high school. Now I read a lot, which is very weird.
Yeah, most people do when they.
All right, one more.
Okay. Would you rather have ears that record everything you hear or eyes that record everything you see?
I'd have to go with ears. Because
Really?
I'm a music lover, yeah.
Fair.
I would go with
Mhm.
eyes because then the photographic memory you would have is just incredible. Like,
It's true.
Well, I just listen to
Yeah.
audiobook and be the same thing.
no, because like, what
But
about
you
what
could
about if you're
still
taking
see,
what if
though.
you're taking a test?
Well, I couldn't listen to a picture
and
book, I guess.
It's not saying that you can't.
I'd have to get someone to read it to me.
No, I think I would go
Well, yeah,
with
no, What
recording.
you're saying is you would still. She's saying you'd still be able to see. You're not. It's not like you have to choose. Like it's recording, so you you always will have it in your memory.
That's why I'm gonna go with my ears. I want to
Me
hear
too.
everything and remember
I would
that.
do my eyes.
Because I can still see. And I still remember a lot of things.
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
think it's a great
visual gal.
question.
That's a
so,
good question.
Well, let's
I
extend.
really have to think on it. But that's where I'm
I
going.
love photographic memory of stuff.
That's
like,
amazing.
I just to make it even better and to like to be able to just like flip through a book and then remember everything,
Yeah,
like a
it'd be amazing.
textbook. and
Sure.
remember
Oh.
everything about it, like all the books that you're reading in business, like to just have all the quotes down and
I had a
and
vice president
all
that was
that.
like that.
Like, man, yeah, I
He
I
would
would
read
do
it
eyes.
and then throw it away, and then he would quiz you on it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
But I
any,
could I could
any
hear a song
Suits
and remember it note for
fans?
note. What's that?
Suits, Mike
Yeah.
Ross,
Yeah,
photographic
we-
memory.
yeah,
I'm
that-
watching Suits right
yeah,
now.
that's what he was like. Yeah.
So what would y'all do if you had to lose your eyesight or your ears or your hearing? Which one would you do?
I think I'd probably
I
rather
would
lose my hearing, because I would suck not being able to see anything anymore.
Yeah.
Because you can still
Yeah.
communicate.
And you can read subtitles. You can still entertain. You could sign language. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as much as I love music and hearing, I would choose the same because I want to see my kids, see my wife, all
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
I just hope neither one of those happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
you couldn't sell real estate because you couldn't hear. You wouldn't be able to talk on the phone.
I'm
pretty
watching Daredevil right now and Marvel, and that he's blind.
I'm pretty sure that everyone watching is tuned out.
I know.
All right, well, subscribe below. Thank you for watching.
Unsubscribe to
like,
negativity.
comment.
Unsubscribe
And
to negativity.
everybody, Anthony's the man.
Gotta
Yeah,
jump in,
right.
gotta start climbing, show up and win.
Wow.
Never stop striving. It's gonna
do
be
have the best
worth it. Wait and see. Building your legacy.
Bye.
Gotta jump in, gotta start climbing, show up and win. Never stop striving. It's gonna be worth it.